So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. We have one more edition of our webinar. So it's a pleasure to always have everybody here with us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we get started with the material that we have for today. So what we are bringing today is a live demo of the new features that we are launching in our latest release, the 9.3 product release. So your speakers for today is me, Thiago Carlucci, as the event host. I am the head of global campaign marketing at ElectroNeek, and we have our key speaker, Ivan Ramos, which is our sales engineer that will take us through the demo. Okay, so a quick introduction from my side, and then I'll pass the word to Ivan. Today, what we're going to look at are the three different fronts of improvements and new features that we bring in the 9.3 release, which is Open AI. Yeah, we have two new code activities in Studio Pro with the abilities for bots to communicate with ChatGPT. We have extended power of the ElectroNeek Zapier connector, and we have also the IntelliDocs, which is our IDP solution, recognition history for tracking, billing, and data management for all businesses. Yeah, so we bring these three different fronts of improvements. Talking about Open AI specifically, we have the new features that are designed to make development of bots easier and the workflow even smoother with bots powered by Open AI. This creates automated workflows with Ask AI and edit text very fast in an efficient way, so making it very simpler. And with these new features, your bots have enhanced decision-making abilities and can perform more complex and cognitive tasks. Okay, so very awesome improvement there, linking RPA with AI. All right, in terms of Zapier, our new feature triggers the RPA bot's ability to get the data from the SaaS workflow, making incorporating data into the RPA bot even more straightforward. This improvement significantly reduces human error in gathering specific data and further helps with time and workload management through automation. So again, more power to the Zapier connector, to the ElectroNeek Zapier connector. This is a significant improvement also moving forward. And the IntelliDocs, where we keep track of billing and data management, which is a pain point for any business. And that's why we introduced the recognition history, right? This feature will allow you to see the client page history for billing, managing and optimizing relevant workflow sections easier and more efficient. Yeah. Also, this feature provides a specific way to track your team's performance, and the analytics generated will pave the way for a more approachable and professional billing structure. So I will, without further ado, I will move on here and give Eva the word. Eva, I will stop sharing my screen. You can share from your side, and we'll go ahead with the demo. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Thiago. Hello, everyone. Today, just like Thiago mentioned, I will be showcasing these three main updates that were made to the ElectroNeek platform in the 9.3 release. If there's any questions while we show these features, don't hesitate to add them to the Q&A section or the chat, and we will be answering them later. So I will start sharing my screen. And just like Thiago just summarized, these updates include the new OpenAI activities for GPT integration and improvements to Zapier and IntelliDocs. We will start with the new OpenAI activities. So if we open Studio Pro, we will find that there's a new section called OpenAI right here. And here is where the new activities are. So these two activities, Ask AI and Edit Text, have a native integration with OpenAI's GPT language model. So first, we have the Ask AI activity right here, which allows you to send any question, also called a prompt, to OpenAI's GPT engine, just like you would with ChatGPT. The result will be GPT's reply. It will save to the following variable. And then you can use that, of course, content in any way inside your bots. This activity requires an OpenAI API key. We are currently providing our own ElectroNeek token option, so you don't need to bring in your own token at this moment. But if you already have an OpenAI API key, you can add it as credential to Studio Pro and use it here directly as well. Then you just need to input your question or your prompt. And of course, depending on what you ask and depending what the prompt is, the response that you will get. And that's all you need. That's how easy it is to set up this activity. Let's see actually a quick demo of a workflow called Intelligent Ticket Support, which will showcase this Ask AI activity. Right, so this demo will show a bot that reads emails from an inbox. We can see right here the 3 emails that will be read. One says new license required, the other one says unlock Oracle account, and the other one is just simply somebody thanking for support. So there are different types of emails, and we will have GPT categorize them according to some categories. So we are, in this case, one of them will be recognized as a new order, the first one. The second one will get recognized as a support ticket, and the third one as simply a comment. And inside the logic of the same bot, we'll have the bot detect when an email is a support ticket, and it will create a ticket for that the same request inside Zendesk via the Zendesk API. So once that's done, we'll see an email that will notify that that ticket has been created. So these are the input emails. We'll now see the bot running. It'll all run in the background. It will read the emails in the background and perform the connection to GPT in the background, and then send the email with the notification that the Zendesk ticket has been created. So let's see how that bot runs. So first it loops through the email inbox, finding each email. And of course, for each one, it will categorize it and it will let us know, depending on what GPT said. In this case, it said, oh, we found an email with a new order category. So there's nothing else that we need to do for that one. We only need to act further if it's a support ticket. Now it's just found the comments, so doesn't need to do anything else for that one either. And finally, it found the support ticket, which was the one about the Oracle account. So once it finishes recognizing it, it will first create the ticket via the Zendesk API and then send the following email, where, as you can see, it's telling us that the ticket regarding the topic that the email contained, unlocking user USR Oracle 1, has been created, and you can open it by clicking on the following link. So this showcases how AI and GPT can take unstructured text and free-form text, make a structured decision based on that text, and then we can use that information further inside a bot to make better decisions inside the bot without any need for human intervention. Right, now let's see the second activity from the OpenAI section. This activity is called Edit Text. It works similarly to Ask AI, but it has a twist. Instead of simply asking a question or entering a prompt and then getting the answer, this activity will require an original text in the input field, and then an instruction on what we want to do to that text, what type of transformation or modification we want to perform on that text. So this activity also requires the OpenAI API key. We can use the same ElectroNeek token right here. Then we need the input right here in the input field, and the instruction letting us know what we want to do to that text. Let's also see a quick demo of that activity as well, where we will have an original text and then a transformation for it. So in this case, the bot will ask for the original text, and we will type in a very simple sentence. Right? In this case, it's simply a quick introduction saying, hello, my name is Ivan Ramos. I'm a sales engineer at your service. And then the instruction that we will give it in this particular case will be to translate it to Spanish. And of course, this is just one of hundreds of examples of what you can do with that transformation. Here's the instruction right here. So translate to Spanish, and we can be very specific, like please use the following punctuation, please don't add or change anything, or change the tone or the style. And then we have the final result, which you can see right here, which is simply the original text, but translated to Spanish, just like we asked. The types of transformations that can be done with this activity on any original text are super varied. We can perform an autocorrection. We can perform a review on a text, word replacement. We can perform summaries, translations, just like this one. And there's many other changes that we can do. So really, any operation that requires an original text and some way to transform it can be done via the edit text activity. And as you can see, the final result can be easily accessed via the bot itself. Right, so those are the two improvements to the two new features actually of the Studio Pro, the two activities in the Open AI section, and these can be used starting from the 9.3 release in any of your bots. Right, so we can now move on to the second big pillar of this webinar, which will be the improvements to the Zapier integration. So as the only RPA platform integrated with Zapier, we're now taking this integration to the next level in terms of practical applications by allowing our bots to collect data from Zapier applications directly. So as you know, and in case some of you are not familiar with our Zapier integration, I will give a very quick introduction. We have a native integration with Zapier, an application with hundreds of connectors to the most common apps in any industry. And this allows us to very easily set up some SAPs. Also, this is the name of the logic inside Zapier to trigger an ElectroNeek workflow from any of the applications that Zapier is connected to. So what this improvement allows us to do now is to pass data directly from the trigger application over to the workflow that is executed. So in this case, we'll actually see an example with Slack. The triggering application will be Slack, and the logic will be that as soon as a message is posted to a certain channel, then a bot will run, and the bot will receive information from that message, not only the text, but also the data on the user who posted the message, and it will react accordingly. So that's exactly what we will see right here. As you can see, we already have our SAP built right here. It's reacting to any messages on that specific channel, which we'll see in a moment. And of course, that's the trigger. The action itself will use a Zapier token, which has been generated previously inside the Orchestrator in the integrations section. As you can see, that's where you need to generate that token in order to connect Zapier to your Orchestrator. And then you can see the payload right there that we're sending to the bot. So in this case, we've structured it sort of as a JSON object, but you can structure it in any way that you wish. And we've included the username of the person who sent the message to Slack, the first name and the last name of that username as well, of that user, their email, and the text of the message that they sent. So we will need this information to know what they sent. And we've added some small logic, and we'll see the bot in a second, that will detect if the word error was used inside that message. And if it was, an email will be sent automatically, as you can see right here. If the word error is included, we'll send an email to that person saying, hey, we noticed that you reported an error. Can we help you? So basically a very quick and immediate follow-up based on that message that was sent to Slack. And of course, the bot itself is receiving all that data from Slack, including the email, the username, the first name, the last name, and the message itself. So let's try it. This is the channel. Let's send our first message. So you can see this is just simple hello, everyone. Now, this will trigger the workflow, but of course, we will just see a message reading the data of the message itself, like the name of the person, the username, the email, and what message they sent. In this particular case, that's all. There's nothing else to do with that message. But in the next one, we'll include the word error so that the bot reacts and sends that email. So let's see how that works. So this is it for that message. In this particular case, it only showed that notification. And now with the following message, it will actually react and send an email to follow up on that error. So in this case, it's a user is saying, oh, I had an error with a particular product. Could somebody help me? Then the bot will run, detect the word error, and send an email asking to follow up. So we'll see that email in a second. Right, and there it is. We've sent an email saying, dear Ivan, and of course the name also, we also got that from Zapier, and the email itself to who you're sending this, we got it from the Zapier, from the Slack account via Zapier. And as you can see, we'd ask, we would like to follow up about the error you reported with the following message. Can you please give us more details? thank you. So this is a very easy way to follow up on a message that was posted to Slack. And this is just one very simple and very quick example of how you can have your applications trigger your ElectroNeek workflows via the Zapier integrations and feed data from those applications into your bots. Slack is just one example. It can also integrate with Salesforce, Gmail, Teams, Outlook, and hundreds of other applications, and you can perform these same operations in the same way. You could even have workflows that integrate this activity with also the GPT applications, the GPT activities, to determine how to send this email, what content to use, determining what the message or the content of the message was. So there really is no limit to what you can do with these features. Right, so that would be all for this second big improvement to our Zapier integration. And now we will move on to the third and final improvement that we will be showcasing in today's webinar, which is the updates to IntelliDocs. Just like we discussed at the beginning, what we've added to IntelliDocs is the ability to track the activity of a specific document stream. So the document streams within IntelliDocs are the ways that you can individualize and separate the consumption of your IntelliDocs pages among your customers and among your internal users. So since you have this division, for example, as you can see here, we have different document streams with example names for different customers. And not only do you have the used page count and a limit and the ability to activate or deactivate each one of these streams, we have now added a page where if you click on the name of a document stream, you will be sent over to this activity page that will show you the history of that document stream, the execution history of every single document, including not only how many pages each document had, but also what model type was recognized for that document. And you can even filter by specific dates. For example, in this case, I will filter by only the first days of the month, like between May 1st and today. And we can see we have some small analytics here telling us that we use 15 pages in this period. And out of those 15 pages, 9 were US receipts, 6 were invoices. And we can actually see a more detailed breakdown of when each one of these documents was sent, how many pages each document had, and the model type, as well as the status of each execution, if they were successful or if there was any issue during the extraction, so that we can individualize and cater more specifically to each customer. We can use this information to gain insights into how our clients or our internal users are using their IntelliDocs API keys. So as you can see, this history page can very easily be accessed by simply clicking the name of each document stream. Right, and that would be all for the main features that we will showcasing in this webinar. We've added some great improvements to the platform, not only in the development side with the OpenAI activities that allow you to expand the use cases that you can automate with the platform and add a lot of intelligence with this integration. The Zapier integration will allow you very easily to bring in data from external applications and then act on that data immediately. And of course, the IntelliDocs update, which has been designed to provide you with far more information and insight into how each API key within IntelliDocs is being used. So thank you for your time. We would love to now jump into the Q&A and see how we can help you answering some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Iva. So let's go ahead and take some questions, guys. I see some questions here in the Q&A section. So the first one, Iva, is does it only work with ChatGPT or other AI tools as well?
Right, that's a good question. So this particular integration, the Ask AI and the Edit Text activities, are an integration with OpenAI's model, which is specifically GPT, the GPT family. Of course, GPT has different iterations. It has GPT-3, ChatGPT, GPT-4, and so on, but they're all part of the OpenAI family. This is particularly aimed towards that. but you can very easily integrate with other AI models via their respective APIs or their respective interfaces if you have access to them. We just haven't added native integrations to them in the same way that we have added with the, of course, the most popular one, which is GPT. But that doesn't mean that you cannot integrate with them. If, for example, you're using the Google or Bard model or any other AI model that you have access to, and the interface would be via API. You can use the HTTP request activity from Studio Pro, which is included by default, and connect to that system. If there's any other way, like via code or via an interface that the language model can be interacted with, you can also interact with it via the web automation, GUI automation, or the programming activities, just like you would with any other application. But of course, these native integrations are specifically catered towards GPT.
Okay, awesome. The second one here refers to the quality of the prompts. Yeah, it's a pretty long question, so I'll read it out aloud. How can I feed ChatGPT with data and information from my company to increase its accuracy in providing responses? Specifically, I work in financial services, and I would like the AI to suggest more accurate credit products based on the data we already have on our clients, either for my team or for the clients themselves.
Right, that's a great question. So GPT itself and the language model behind these integrations or these AI is trained on general data that it was trained on from the internet and from many other sources. If one wants to specifically train it on your own specific data, your own data sets, OpenAI does provide a way to fine-tune models. That's how they call the procedure of creating some AI models that have specific information based on your data sets. And you can do that. That's not a service that we are providing. And our integration is using their base models. Of course, you can integrate with those fine-tuned models via the API very, very easily as well. But that is pretty much a different brand of usage. So there's the base usage, which is just using the base models, which are very, very smart for general purposes. But if you want them to be very specific about product knowledge or your own domain knowledge, then I would recommend looking into fine-tuning models and integrating those fine-tuned models via the API. It's quite simple. OpenAI does have a lot of documentation on that process. The main challenge is gathering the data, but the training process is quite simple, and they've documented all of it within their own documentation. But it's a bit out of our scope, of course, but it's definitely something that you can do. And, it's definitely an interesting aspect of this GPT family of AIs as well, the ability to fine tune them.
All right, so next one here, can you show an invoice scanning capability or capture, please, and how it can be extracted? I don't think we're going to show it now, but...
Right, no, we do have some content on both our YouTube channel and, of course, in our documentation as well on more types of IntelliDocs, or actually on some IntelliDocs extractions. This particular webinar did not have the goal of showcasing IntelliDocs itself, but only one improvement particularly to it alongside the other improvements. But we do have a lot of content to the YouTube channel. We actually had a full webinar where we showcased one recipe, one workflow that we created, and it's documented within our platform that does involve invoice processing alongside other documents. So I'd really recommend that you check that out within our YouTube channel. We showcase some very interesting, 5 interesting IDP workflows that showcase some of the most common type of extractions that will be done in IntelliDocs. So that would be the best place to find that information.
All right, and then last one that we have here, can you advise, I think this is related to the previous one, maybe, the previous one about the prompts. Can you advise on how to create a workflow to create prompts to be used in GPT basis on user input?
Right, that's a pretty interesting question. If that's referring to the creation of the prompts themselves. So of course, once you're asking a question to the AI, the prompt itself, the question that you ask it, is the key of what the result will be. So if your question is good and it's very detailed, then the answer will be good and detailed. If you just are very vague, since these are non-deterministic models, that means that they don't always generate the same answer. They're not exact they always think up of a new answer in a way. So if you're not very specific with your prompt, or not, it's not very detailed, then the answer itself will not be very detailed or very specific either. So generating the prompts themselves is sort of an art in itself. It's actually a work in itself. There's actually a lot of people training themselves as prompt engineers right now in the industry. It's a very new position that will be growing with time. And we actually have not experimented with workflows to automatically generate prompts. Of course, the prompts within the Ask AI activity can use parameters, can use variables very easily. So you can just have a template of the prompt, and some parts of the prompt will be automatically replaced by variables. That's, of course, very simple to do with our native integration by simply, using the calculate a value option within the activity. But the ability to create the prompt itself, in a way, right now, it's a very human task, like learning and designing how to interact with the AI. Of course, very soon there's definitely going to be AIs that will specialize in generating prompts for other AIs, so that's something to look out for. But yeah, we haven't experimented yet with any workflows about generating the prompts themselves, but you can have a template of a prompt with the structure of your question, and the content itself can be replaced very easily with user input, with input from an email, from an Excel file, a spreadsheet, a database, or any other source, by simply using variables concatenated to the structure of your prompt. So that's very easily done, and that's that's what we are doing in this same Ask AI demo that we showed, the intelligent ticket support. We are using a structure, and we are using the content of the email as the input that we're asking about. So it's not like fixed prompts that are always being sent the same way. They are reacting to other inputs. So that's definitely an interesting question, and something to look out for as, of course, prompt generation becomes something that's more understood and more of a science in itself.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Eva. So we don't have any additional questions. I would like to invite you to scan this QR code and book a meeting with us today. Okay, we have our people standing by to talk on a more one-to-one basis to show how ElectroNeek can support your business. Yeah, so take a second, scan that QR code, make sure you book a meeting with us. And look out for our next webinar. We have a webinar on Thursday, May 11th, where we will discuss RPA trends that you should know. Yeah, so the most relevant RPA trends in the market today, not only RPA, but also intelligent automation and how RPA is evolving in that direction. So look out for that webinar. Communication will go out today. That will be on Thursday next week. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I really appreciate your time. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Eva, for coming out. Thanks. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.